Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Paranormal, Guys. It's going to be a great show lined up tonight. Our guest is running a few minutes behind, so you'll just have to bear with us. But I got a couple of things I've got to take care of first. I want to ask the... just lost my train of thought. I want to thank the Parapost Network for allowing us to be on their network and allowing us to be on their channel. I also want to thank Guyz Radio with YurgsRadio.com. You can listen there. If you can't watch, you can go to YurgsRadio.com, and he's always got us on replay. But he also provides us with a toll-free number, 1-888-88-YERGZ, 1-888-88-YERGZ. Good Lord, I can't talk tonight. And we're also on the Rainbow Radio Network, so we are live in several places. Let's see who is backstage. It is the wonderful and beautiful Amanda. How are you?
I'm great. How are you tonight?
Not too bad. Some horses in my throat or something. I don't know. It's been going on all day. So
it's been a weird day.
It has. You know, I was telling you about the storms that came through. They hit the Georgia mountains and lost all their energy. And then they came through Atlanta and it was just heavy rains. There was some flooding. And it got south of Atlanta and it just blew up again. So,
oh my gosh.
We've got another round coming, I think, later tonight or tomorrow afternoon. So I think it's what you guys are getting now. Yeah. I know Mom in Knoxville is getting hammered right now. So
yeah.
But and then somebody said, I don't know, I haven't fact checked this, so don't hold me to it. But somebody had said that there's a hurricane in the Gulf, or not the Gulf, in the Atlantic that is going to bear down on the coast of Georgia. So that's not good news either.
No, not at all.
I'm far enough inland where it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but
yeah,
we'll still get some. I remember the last tornado that came, not hurricane that came through, and they were like, we were on the last little band, you know how they show on the radar? I mean, it like literally was over our house, and nobody north of us or west of us was affected. And it took out all the main power lines, and we had no power for like 6 days. And I was like, how do they get it to that one little, one little band? So I was surprised. And the guy that did it, that did that graphic, I followed him ever since on Twitter. So whether I believe him.
He's very accurate.
Yeah, exactly. Down to the line, apparently. So our guest tonight, Shelby Lee Lowe, he's a country and music star, and he's pretty much bringing back old school country and making it modern. He said he was going to be running a little bit late, so I'll check my messages again. And I guess he's on the road, so we're getting just a few moments of his time, and we appreciate it. And then the second guest, you can tell us about him. How about that?
The second guest is Zodiak. He is a professional wrestler, and we have been friends for over 20 years. He's amazing. He comes out with this ball of fire. I want to definitely ask him about that ball of fire. It's really cool. And he also makes wrestling gear. He sews and stitches, and yeah, he's just all around. He's a great guy, very talented. Super excited to have him on the show tonight.
Is he going to scare me?
No. He's the sweetest guy. He does look pretty furious and mean, but he's just a sweetheart.
I met Kane and the Undertaker, and of course now Kane is the Knox County mayor. But I met both of them. They were coming in a children's hospital, right. And they had been in their stuff inside the hospital, and they were coming out the back entrance with security at the ambulance entrance. And they both stopped and talked to us for a few minutes. I was impressed at one, how big they really were. Yes. I mean, they're huge. Yes. And then I was impressed with their humility and the fact that they were coming to spend time not only with the kids, but they stopped with us too. They didn't have to do that.
Yes.
They could have just
Right.
snubbed us, walk on by.
But,
So I
we
was
wouldn't
really,
have wrestling if it wasn't for the fans. Like, we always try to stop and talk to people, well, those of us who are nice. But there are a few who wouldn't do that, but for the most part, you're going to reach a lot of nice people in that industry.
yeah. Well, there's divas and everything. I mean, I have other
Oh, yeah.
podcasters that won't talk to me. So
Right?
you know
Yeah.
what? Who care? So
Right?
go ahead
It
and
doesn't matter.
report it in. Sorry, but yeah, yeah. I mean, there's people that way everywhere, and like I said, I was really shocked at how big they were. So
Yes, they have
mm,
to duck to get through the doorways.
yeah, yeah. And
They're
now that
huge.
the mayor of Knox County is Glenn Jacobs is his real name, I believe. He was
Mhm.
Kane, right? Was that right?
Yes.
Or he was Kane. Um,
Mhm.
great guy, great guy. Very pro public safety. Very
Mhm.
pro Second Amendment and keeping construction down in the county so that we don't get. Well, I don't live there anymore, but so that they don't get overrun. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah, he's done a great job. Of
Mhm.
course, he's going to have his haters, but
Oh,
that's
yeah.
everybody's like, and because occasionally he still goes in the ring, which I didn't think he
Mhm.
could do that now that he was a politician, but I don't know. There's some talk he may run
Mhm.
for governor. That's going to
Oh,
be
wow.
interesting if we have
That's
a,
well, I mean, if he's done well, as mayor, why not?
yeah. And I don't know if I'd have to look it up. I don't know that they have term limits for mayors. They probably do, but um,
Mhm.
they should if they don't. So that would make sense for him to move the next step up to, there. And then who knows, Congress, Senate,
Yeah.
and gets a little age on him. He may be the next president. So, you
Right?
know,
I think he would do well to move up.
that would be crazy if we had a wrestler as president. Like, no, we're not going to war. Bring your ass in the ring.
Right? Yeah. We know Jesse Ventura did a lot, with,
Mhm.
politics and everything. I think he ended up moving to Mexico.
Yeah, he kind of he went a little weird, but yeah,
That's why I just said, I think he moved to Mexico.
yeah, he just probably ran off. So wasn't he? No, I don't think he was the one that was talking about the UFOs landing in the whatever the Capitol or whatever. Was he the one that was?
I don't think so.
Okay, because I know we had a Georgia. I don't know if she was a congresswoman or senator talk about how the UFOs had landed in the capital of Georgia. The Capitol residence, and everybody was like, "What? Where is she getting this from?" So.
Oh my gosh.
And it wasn't Marjorie Taylor Greene. It was a one for Atlanta. I don't think Marjorie Taylor Greene has went quite that far as UFOs landing on the Capitol, but yeah, yeah. And then of course we've got one in there now for Georgia, Hank. Oh, Hank, I don't like Hank. It's not because of one of the colors of the politics. It's because of the way he treated us as fire recruits when he was a county commissioner.
Oh,
I hold a grudge. But he was the one that asked
yeah.
the Navy about putting so many people on. I don't remember if it was what island it was, but asked if the island would tip over. And the admiral was like, "Excuse me."
What?
Yeah, that was. You're welcome, Atlanta.
Wow.
So
That's
yeah, I hold a
special.
grudge for that because it's very special. I hold a grudge for that because when you're in public safety and it's an election year, they flaunt you. And you can't do
Right.
anything because you've got to follow their orders.
Mhm.
And so they were putting us all out in our class A's and gonna, raise your right hand, do the oath. They're gonna walk by and shake your hands, and just a lot of hoopla for nothing.
Mhm.
Well, backstage, we were all standing at attention because we had ranking officers there. And he comes by and he says, "Well, I guess since I'm whatever he was, county commissioner, whatever the hell his title was, I guess I can tell you guys to stop and give me 10." And we all just kind of looked
Oh.
at each other and we were like, no, really, you can't. And we looked at
Well,
the recruit or the instructor, not the recruiter, and he was like, "Sir, they're in our class A, so they're not going to do that. You need to walk on." And I've held that grudge ever since. You can tell me to stop.
yeah.
20, you'd bite my ass.
Right?
So
Oh, I know. I can hold a grudge like no other.
yeah, I found there's a lot of petty people in this world, so it's a shocker. It's a
Oh, yeah.
shocker.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So I've held it for that. It's no other reason, but
Yeah.
yeah, you're welcome from Atlanta. You're welcome. So told my wife, I said I can't wait to hurry up and finish this up and move back to Knoxville, but it's not going to
Yeah,
happen
you do
anytime
wanna
soon.
move back?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I still got the farmhouse I'm taking care of up there, so yeah,
Okay.
that's I'm going to be spending a lot more time up there here in the very near future. So, but
Yeah.
I guess I can announce this on the air. I don't think it's a hidden secret anymore. Just yesterday, I was blessed to have another grandchild. Uh, Finn
Yay.
Austin Jackson came into the world at about 11:30, and he was 8 pounds 3 ounces, 21 inches long, and came in
Ah,
kicking and fussing and screaming. So yeah, so yeah,
I
I
love
don't
it.
I look like I'm 20. I get it, but yeah.
I know, you really don't look enough to have a grandchild.
I, I was in a private chat with some friends that I go out in the woods with in Bigfooting. I told them, and I made the comment about I don't feel old enough, and they're like, "Well, think about what all you've put your body through. It'll catch you." I'm like,
Right?
yeah, yeah, it is. So,
No,
but yeah,
I don't either, and, my son just turned 18, so any day I could. I hope not, he's a little young and just going to college, but, just to know that I'm at that point now where I could be a grandmother is surreal. It's
it does feel weird. And we worry about the next generation coming out. Now you really worry about it because and I'm sure
Yeah,
my mom worries about me, and I worry about him, and now I worry about the grandkids. It's like, oh, what is this world going to be then? So yeah,
right.
and I'm a
I
chronic
wanna be
worrier.
frozen when I wanna be frozen, and then they can just thaw me out when they figure out how to keep me alive, and then I'll be here, and, I'll just have the rest of my family frozen, we can all just come back.
Okay. I think Elon Musk said that he's working on a chip or something where you can download everything before you die and put it into like AI, I guess.
Oh, cool.
So I'm like,
Wow.
that's weird. I want to know about the technology, but that's weird. So
Right? And they can freeze just your head or your entire body, and it's like 200,000 for your entire body, which isn't bad.
I mean, a funeral is what, about 50? So
Right. So I'm like, I plan on living long enough to be able to afford that.
okay, okay. Oh, well, man, me, it'll be my kids' insurance money. So
Right?
I told that you say that. I told them, I said, as a firefighter, the last request I got is two requests: do not cremate me, and do not put me in an ambulance for my last ride. So,
Oh gosh. See, if I can't be frozen, we plan on being cremated and put my husband and I in the same urn together.
oh, that's nice.
So we're
That's
always together.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's good. Unfortunately, my wife's ashes would still separate and beat me. So, uh,
She would still find a way to throw rocks at you.
yeah, exactly. So, did I tell you she made me go out and buy more rocks this weekend? So,
No.
yeah, I got some more rocks. I don't know what they are, but they're really cool. So, you hear
So
me
they're more for
clicking on the
decoration.
desk. Yeah, yeah. If you hear me clicking, it's me fiddling with them as we speak. So, I use them more as fidget. What do you call it? Fidget spinners, or
Oh,
thing on
yeah.
here. But they all hold a meeting or something. I don't know. I need to get somebody on the show. If anybody's listening on that is on the show that knows about different crystals and their powers, let me know. Hook me up. We
Oh,
will get you on the
yeah.
show because
I have a tiger eye for protection. That's what tiger eye is for.
yeah, I
So,
have a. Oh, I just drew a total blank. It's a brown crystal. What the heck is it called? Something quartz. Brown quartz? No, that's not it. Anyhow, it's a Thor's hammer. So
oh,
uh,
yes. I love that.
yeah, I got that. And then I got a arrowhead that's just a crystal or is it, no, it's just clear quartz. So see, I'm showing my ignorance of these rocks I get. So I'm like, oh, that's pretty. That's pretty much it.
I love them. I would love to have like a big display of the larger ones you can get, but they're expensive.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, hey, Shay has joined us. She's here.
Yes.
There, she is
She's
here.
here in text.
There you go. I guess I should explain. Shay is not with us. She's on Twitch, of all things. She's not with us tonight because where she lives has had some violent storms, and she's got intermittent power and no internet. So she is with us in the spirit. We miss you, Shay. We'll talk.
Yes, we miss you
can't talk back.
terribly.
So
Yeah. At least you can still ask questions and see the guests.
it's true. It's true. I hope he hasn't replied back, but he's messaged earlier and said he was running a few minutes behind. So, and he's got the link. So hopefully,
Yeah.
I guess
And
he's on the road. So,
yeah, he couldn't do the whole hour anyway, so
yeah.
it'll be fine.
Oh yeah, it always is. Well, we're just blessed to have him. So, because he is on concert or tour and he's working, so we get it.
Oh yeah.
So, hello, Joseph. How are you? Welcome. Please like, follow, share, subscribe, thumbs up. I believe you already have, but I just repeat that. So
I did an interview in a McDonald's drive-through once.
Really?
So yeah, you just never know. I forgot. I forgot I was supposed to be on this show and they called me. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I was like, I'm here. I would just like mute my phone and then like pay for my food and then unmute and answer a question, mute and get my food.
One of the last times we had Miranda on, she was in her car and she had just landed in Florida. And so she was like, I'm sorry, I can't talk long. I'm in my car.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I need to message her and get another date from her so we can get her back on the show.
Yeah.
She needs to come on and talk about her pickles and her now honey business. So don't have a sponsor. So
as soon as Cheyenne was on here talking about the pickles, my husband brought home Amish pickles from the Amish farm, and he brought dill and bread and butter pickles, and they're so good. And I told him yesterday, I was like, you're going to have to bring me some more dill pickles. I'm almost out. And he said, I don't know when I'll be back over there because he's a truck driver. I was like, I didn't ask when you would be back over there. I just said I needed more pickles. It's like, you might have to run over there after work. I don't know where they're located, but I need pickles.
There you go.
So I might have to order some of Miranda's.
I'm not a pickle person, and I've made that abundantly clear to Cheyenne. And my wife ordered, I think she likes the regular dill, and she ordered me the hot and spicy.
Oh, yeah.
Mine are already gone. It's just the juice, and I think I'm trying to figure out what I can do with the juice. So I think I can use it for a marinade or something. So
probably, yeah.
Yeah, it's good. So give the woman your pickles. Be careful. We don't want to get flagged now.
Right. Don't want anyone to report us.
That's right. We would think we were doing something bad on the show. You would think that we did all kinds of bad things. Yeah. Yeah, and it's surprising. The shows I get reported for, I actually had on here and interviewed a I guess sex worker is the correct political term. She was great. It was me and Bobby. She had a great interview and some great stories. There was never an issue. So
yeah.
So it felt a little odd. Bobby and I interviewed her because I don't remember if it was Brenda or Dina that was my co-host at the time bailed on me. So
oh gosh.
Give her the pickle. Cheyenne, figure out how to make emojis now. Now that you're in the chat, you can figure out how to make emojis because we never can otherwise.
Oh my gosh.
I can't do it on my end. So
That's so funny.
yeah, yeah. Well, I hate that everybody's having such bad weather, but and we've had guests on here um, had to take shelter because of a tornado warning.
Yeah.
So it's summertime. Summertime in the South is sometimes very bad. So oh,
Yeah,
she
we
figured
do.
it out.
Oh.
Oh,
My gosh, this is fantastic.
yeah, it is. We can actually talk about it. She can't say anything. So
Oh, she can always text us though.
it's true. We'll
Send
get
voice
to the
messages.
message. Yeah, exactly.
I can't believe you said that.
It hurts. It stings only for a little while.
Gosh, we do miss you.
Yes, we do. I don't. I'm not sure what that would mean, but I'll just live with it so I don't get flagged.
Right? Gosh.
Well,
Yeah.
while I've got you here and just your undivided attention, I know you messaged me about some activity you had in your on your property. Anything new to report?
Nothing new so far. Like I always like I my hair I used to have a mohawk and it's grown out. So now after feeling like the hair down the back of my arm and then the pinch, it always freaks me out now when my hair touches my arm. I'm just waiting to see if something pinches me afterward because obviously that was not a hair that day going down the back of my arm. And I really don't know what it was. It was super creepy, but I'm always watching out for things. My son was in his room and we were in our room, which is on separate ends of the house. And he did tell us to leave him alone and stop knocking on his window. And we were like, that's not us.
Wow.
And there's like no tree outside his window close enough to like hit his window or anything. So my husband went out with the flashlight and there was nothing.
Yeah. Well, you had some trees pushed over, so
Oh yeah, the trees are still down. We haven't gotten them chopped up yet, but that one section had been pushed over and come up by the roots. So we have
for
to
no
clean
apparent
all that
reason.
up. Yeah, where
Man,
Sasquatch needs to go on somewhere. Or make himself known, like just start camping out in my backyard so I can at least say it really is Squatch River Farm.
there you go. Well, I think something made its presence known by pushing those trees over. So
Oh yeah. Yeah. And we had like 10 trees down already anyway, so I'm not appreciative of that. It takes a lot to clean all these trees up out here on the farm, and we don't have time. So he needs to stop.
well, you hadn't, or you or your husband hadn't put up like tree stands or anything, had you?
No,
Because
no.
I've heard from some friends of mine, if on certain parts of their property, if they'll put up tree stands, they get torn down, or they'll
Oh,
tear up, like the area. So
yeah. Huh. No, I think he got mad because I mowed down on the river. Like usually I leave it all grown up and everything, but then for the 4th of July we were having so many people out that I mowed down there so people could go walk along the river and everything. And I think maybe that did it.
oh well,
Yeah, I
he
cleared
likes
that area.
he likes to roll around afterwards. So
Yeah.
he gets in the water, takes his bath. He likes to roll in the grass and not be seen. You're right. He should help clean up the mess.
Yes, at least, like, take them and throw them in the river after you push them over, help us out a little bit.
That just invite the beavers. So
Right? We chop it up for firewood.
yeah,
We
it'll be
do.
all right. But it's funny. How high up is your son's window, by the way?
It's one of those top windows, so it's not like a regular size window, it's just, like, up above his bed, and it's rectangular and long this way and just
Okay.
just to
But
let some sun through,
okay,
so it's
but
up there.
so it's not a short distance from the.
No. Our ceilings are 9 foot tall, so I would say it's close to the top of the ceiling.
Oh wow.
So 8
So
feet.
wow, that's something with some reach that was knocking.
Yeah,
Either that,
definitely.
either that or it was supernatural. One or the other.
Yeah. And I'm always trying to scare my son. So he was like, Mom, stop trying to scare me. It's like, I'm not doing anything. It's
I'm
not
hoping outside
me.
the house.
I'm in bed. I'm tired. It's not me. I was like, why don't you go out there and check it out? And he's like, I'm not checking it out.
I had, I had a friend of mine that was an audio guy, and he took and put a microphone between the screen and the window because he was hearing stuff out in the woods, and he thought I might be able to catch it. Well, he recorded footsteps like slowly, like coming up towards the house, and then now this window is directly above his bed, and it's about 12 feet off the ground. You could hear a fingernail going up and down the
Oh,
screen.
no.
And it flicks the microphone. I was like, how did it know it was there? That is so weird. So
That
he's like,
is.
and then you could hear a car was coming down the road, and you could hear it run into the woods. So
Oh my gosh. That's creepy.
yeah, he's like, I moved my bed. I'm like, well, I don't think it's gonna
Yeah.
help you, buddy.
Oh my gosh. Might help him not hear that on the window.
Yeah, well, he did. That was the problem. It was on tape.
Oh gosh.
Or,
That's
or
creepy knowing it's right
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He taught me some tricks about recording audio that uh nope, not today, Satan. That
Yeah.
you can get some interesting things if you set up your equipment a certain way. He taught me some things and I've used them, and even here in my neighborhood, which is a suburban Atlanta neighborhood, I've had some weird things happen. So
Yeah.
never know what's out there.
No, you
Having
really
been in the
don't.
woods quite a bit, sometimes things aren't what they seem. So
Mhm.
I remember I was coming back in from a flight when I was a flight medic, and I don't know, I got in like 2, 3 in the morning. It was late, and nobody was moving. It was a school night, and out of nowhere, a pine cone comes flying vertical past me. I'm like, well, that can only be one thing. Yeah, it was so funny. I was so tired. I turned around and just in the general direction. I said, not tonight. I'm too tired. I'm going to sleep.
I had a
So,
walnut hit me in the head.
well, we were camping in this real remote location up on
Yeah.
Trey Mountain, and we've been off roading, and we were way off the path. And if you had been able to get up there, you had to be experienced because I parked and rode up with the other guys because I wasn't going to do that rock climb because we did the actual rock climb with the 4-wheel drives. I was like, no, not me. I'll put my stuff in somebody else's ride up. I'm not that brave. And well, I mean, it was because there was like big gorges, and I already had to have somebody holding on to one side of my Jeep to keep it from flipping over on one part of it. And I was like, yeah, no more. I'm done. And so we were up there, way up there. Nighttime, you could get a perfect view of the city. I don't know, 70, 80 miles away from the top of the mountain. You can see it.
Oh, wow.
And out of nowhere, rocks, just little teeny tiny rocks, just start coming at us like little pellets. And I was like, well, that's either squirrels, raccoons, something with opposable thumb. So that's even much bigger. So
You
yeah,
pissed off the squirrels.
could have been. I don't know. That was the night the guys asked me since I was kind of like the last one up there since I rode up with them. They were like, all right, we get to build a campfire. I was like, okay. Yeah, they learned after that not to ask the firefighter to build a campfire. I think it could have been seen from Atlanta. Well, I went and I cleaned up the campsite and everything that was burnable. You know, I put in there, and so and I built it up pretty good, and we had a nice little campfire.
We get a lot of brush and stuff around the farm, and we make huge, huge bonfires. So we weren't able to get them lit very well, so we bought a blowtorch.
Oh, please tell me this is on TikTok.
I do have a video of my husband Abe starting a fire with the blowtorch. I'll have to send it to you. It's just in the fireplace outside on the deck, but it's hilarious. Him
That's
with
great.
this small fireplace and this big blowtorch, and it's just
That's great. That's great. Yeah, I can appreciate that as a firefighter. We had one of the guys at our station. He was from, I want to say he was from Colorado, and he wasn't used to our, weather, and so he was going to burn off the leaves. Well, I don't know how much gasoline he used, but I'm pretty
Oh,
sure his neighbors knew about it when it went off.
oh my gosh.
Because he had done video, well, his wife had done video. I'm surprised it didn't burn himself, but there was like one big flash, and then all the leaves were gone. Yeah,
Jeez.
if I get a chance, I would like to, and I don't know how much it would cost, but I would like to hire somebody to build on my property a pit with a barbecue grill attached to it. I'm
Oh
sure
yeah.
that's expensive because masonry work is not cheap. So, but
Hmm.
anybody out there that does that work, let me know. Hit me up. I'd like to know.
You can use
Doesn't have to be
cinder
big.
blocks.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't have to be big. I just want to have something where I can, because where we're at, it's not really strategic to have bonfires. Now, if we had them over on the neighbor's property, it would be much better. But because stuff is too close to us, so. But yeah, I'd like to have that. I don't know if I'll ever get it. What is she saying? Did all the cleanup. We have a fire up the mountain. Well, yeah, after this storm,
Yeah.
we have a lot of cleanup. Last time she didn't have internet for like a week, so
Oh my gosh.
uh, I'm hoping she doesn't have it for that long, or out for that long. So we may have
Oh
a
yeah.
small, super easy to go. Okay.
Yeah, before we built this house and have a fireplace on the deck, I found this thing on Pinterest where you use two pallets and a grill to make a fire pit, and it worked out great. We still use it out on the deck. We ended up taking the pallets apart and redoing it so the boards were closer together. And then you take the top of a grill and you flip it upside down. You cut your hole out in the pallet and you set that down in there for your fire pit.
Okay.
Now that works really well too. And it's super easy. You just find an old grill, take the top off, and put it in there.
I'm sure probably at the house I've got one. I don't think I have one here, but um, we've got the little portable rollout one on the back porch, but nothing big. Now my
Yeah,
son-in-law went and got a smoker, and I think it's a
nice.
smoker grill combination. And yeah, that thing's pretty awesome. I'll never go back to charcoal again. That's a
Yeah, we have the Blackstone griddle. We love it.
yep. Yeah, I think that might be what his is. Well, is that the
Yeah.
smoker or is that
It
no?
doesn't have a
That's
smoker on it. You can get one with a smoker.
okay. Yeah. Well, he's got the attachments where it's also just a like they do at hibachi,
Mhm.
So
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
okay, so there you
Yeah,
go. Yeah, he got that. I think it's a gift from his father. I think his dad upgraded, so he got the
yeah.
smaller one.
That's great. I got this one for my husband for Christmas one year.
Oh, they're so super handy. So
I was like,
yeah,
hint, hint, you need to cook more.
shh, don't tell my wife that. So I used to be able to cook. I don't know. I lost that talent somewhere. I haven't done it in so long. I do peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That's about it. So I make a
Yeah.
mean PB and J. So
You don't put anything else on it, do you? Make it weird.
No, I'm not one of these with bananas or tomatoes or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I cannot tomato and PB and
Well,
no.
they were talking about putting peanut butter and chili on a show a while back, and I'm like, why would you?
Oh, yeah.
Ugh, I
Yeah.
can't.
I've
No,
seen
no,
people do that.
yeah, I can't do it now. So she said if they upgrade her air fryer, she will be good. Well,
I have a great air fryer in my pantry. If you ever come over this way, you can have it because my oven is an air fryer.
oh, nice.
Yes. Yeah. We got these appliances. I walked in Lowe's and I said, I'll take that package. And then we had some friends over and they were like, can we connect to your Wi Fi? I said, sure. And they opened it and said, refrigerator. And I was like, "What?" And we realized that all of our appliances, you can, like, connect to your phone and
Yeah.
control things from your phone, and it's called Smart Things.
Hmm.
It c So then it says, "Well, you need to name your appliances," and then it wants you to name the room. So, are we allowed to cuss on right now?
Oh, well, not as long as it's not too bad. So not just something.
So, I
So
named it the effing kitchen.
okay.
And then I named it the effing dishwasher, the effing refrigerator, the effing stove. So then if somebody leaves the refrigerator door open, it says, close the effing refrigerator door. And it pops up on my phone.
I like it. Yeah, I think our oven is that way now, and it connects because I got a notification. There's something trying to join your network, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" And
Yes.
you can turn it on, or if you're not at home, make sure it's turned off. That's a big thing.
Yes.
And
It's
so
crazy.
I don't think our refrigerator is, but I know the stove
Yeah.
is. So and my wife has the app, but
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
I
insane.
don't
I had no
understand it.
idea.
I still haven't figured out why we need it, but hey, well, for being able to turn it on and off from remote location, that can
Yes.
save your house. So yeah, I guess you can
Hmm.
do it. But
I didn't know my dog had turned the stovetop on. He jumped up on the stove and hit the button and turned it on, burned a pan, burned, my oven mitt. Luckily, if we're not home, he's in a kennel, so I was working in the next room, so I smelled it before anything happened, but now I have it set on my phone where as soon as the stovetop comes on, I get an alert.
that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess if you had
yeah.
small kids too, that would be good.
Yes, definitely. And if we're gonna be getting home late, I can turn the light on the oven for a little bit of light for the dog and when we get home. So, yeah, it's I mean, we didn't have it before and we were used to that. So now it's like, do we really need things like this?
Yeah. Well, speaking of this, I did a thing on my show, on a thing on Rock Station, just a little 2 minute bit. Um, they now have an AI friend. If you're lonely, you buy this thing. It looks like a big chain link, not chain link fence. It looks like a big chain with a round button on it. And it's your AI friend. And you program it however you want it, male, female, robot. I don't know what all the options are. And it listens to everything you do and say and monitors you through your phone and through it throughout the day. And it also measures like your heart rate and your respirations and stuff.
Oh my
And
gosh.
if it feels like you need a pep talk, it will shoot you a text message. If it feels like you're depressed, it will send you a message. If you're alone and you want to talk to somebody, you just push a button and talk to it, and it will talk back through your phone.
Wow.
And it learns through you. So, hey Maria, how are you?
That's
Please thumbs up,
so
follow, and
cool.
subscribe. But yeah, I don't know that I'm ready for that technology, but I can see for some people it would be useful.
With my depression, I would be getting messages all day.
Yeah, me too. It's like, wake up, you fat. No, wait a minute, I can't say that word. So get out of bed. It'd be like vibrating. So get up, you lazy bum.
Gosh.
I mean,
Oh.
but I'm sure, like anything, there's probably bad uses for it too. So,
Oh, yeah.
well, you
Would
remember
your friend
when
Mhm.
you remember with when Fitbit first came out, the watch,
Hmm.
they this is true story. This is no top secret military stuff. They made the military stop wearing smartwatches. If you're
Really?
deployed, you cannot wear a smartwatch, or if you're a person in a certain position, you cannot wear a smartwatch
That makes sense.
because they found what time the troops were doing their runs and their exercises, and when there was large numbers of them, and the enemy bombed the shells over in the sandbox and
Yeah.
took soldiers. It took a while to figure it out, and then they finally came out and said, "No, you can't have them."
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
because they were hacked and they were used for a bad reason. Although the Fitbit's a perfectly good product, you can't use it in certain situations because it tracks
Right.
your location.
They could probably also find a way to listen through them
Oh, I'm
if you're
sure.
not careful. Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah.
That's
Well, I mean,
crazy.
the enemy is the one we don't know. So I've slept 12 hours today. Yeah, that would be my. I would be yelling at me, turning on the lights, turning on the radio, turning on everything. Get up, get up. So,
I
but
do
you're
that. I
especially
crank the music up.
well, yeah, and you're right, safety first. But you're right about with the depression, it would always be going off for me. So
Yeah.
it would be
Right.
shooting me messages all the time, going, "Oh, you have a friend?" Like, no, I didn't.
Yeah. Are you okay today? Are you feeling okay? You seem down.
Yeah.
I'd be like, it's just work. I'm on my 75th phone call today.
Oh God. Yeah. Well, funny story. The smartphones can detect similar, like the Apple phone. So I don't know if Android has it, but we caught a fire in the afternoon unexpectedly, and a firefighter had his Apple phone in his pocket. And of course, we're in 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 1,000-degree temperatures, and our heart rate's up. We're sweating and all this. It's sending messages while he's fighting a fire to his wife that his heart rate's like 140, his temperature
Oh
is like
my
200,
god.
and she didn't know what was going on. She was so mad at him. We could hear from across the bay when he answered the phone,
Oh
her
my god.
screaming at him, "What is wrong with you? I thought you were dying."
Oh my gosh. That's scary. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was doing what it was supposed to. I'm surprised it didn't call 911 when his temperature got
Mhm.
to that.
What freaks me out is when I'm just talking to someone about something just like this and my phone is laying here and like we'll talk about like tiger eye, we mentioned that earlier. Well, then I go to Facebook and I'll have an ad for
Yep,
like a tiger eye stone.
yep, yep, yep. My daughter and I were
That's
just talking
scary.
about this.
Yeah.
She was talking about the storm was coming through and she was going to take a shower, and she goes, "Well," she asked me something to the extent of, "Is it true about what they say about taking a shower during thunderstorms, lightning storms?" I said, "Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely." I said, "But in
Yeah.
my career, I have not personally ran one of those calls. I've run a call where somebody got hit that was next to a chain link fence. Next day on my Facebook, nature pictures, chain link fence being struck by lightning." I'm like,
Yep.
Facebook, you son of a.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
Google listens to you, Facebook listens to you. I guess
Mhm.
Amazon listens to you if you got that on your phone.
Yep.
So
Yep.
the government listens to
Products
us.
start popping up.
Yeah, luckily
Turn it down.
I don't buy much stuff. So
I love technology. I'm very tech savvy and love technology, but it's getting scarier the farther we go with it.
yeah, yeah. Well, Cheyenne just talked me into getting Timu, and I have not made my first order yet. So
Oh, I love Temu. Oh, but they tricked me the other day. They did. They were like, "Oh, if you spend this much, we're going to give you this much free." Well, then I spend that much and they're like, "Oh, it's so much per dollar that you get toward this much off." And I was like, "So you mean I have to spend another $50 to get $100 worth of free crap?"
yeah, they got you.
And then I love the way they ship it because it's like in a ball and it's like they've just like wrapped everything together. Like if you have 10 items, it's all just wrapped in there together.
Well, I need the driver to see throw it up on the porch like Amazons do. So
They they roll it down, they hide it behind a tree on our farm because if you leave it by the mailbox, it's just right there by the road. So I feel like they just roll it down the hill and where it stops is where it stops.
yeah, yeah, I've had some Amazon. Our neighbor has. We both live on the odd side of the street, so there's a one in each side of our neighborhood. Mine is very plainly marked. I'm a firefighter. It's got like it's on the front of the house. It's lit up out front. It's on the mailbox. You know, you can't miss it from coming a mile away. And my neighbors is like hanging over, and all you can see is the one. For the longest time, they were getting my packages. I went down there and I photographed their mailbox, and I put it in. You know, you can the comments. I said, "Do not deliver to this address. Not my house." Oh, she got a free gift from Temu. I will order something eventually. So but I'm not a big shopper. Like we're going to the beach, and she's like, "We need to get some beach clothes." I'm like, "We got a pair of shorts."
Temu is addictive somehow. I don't know why it's addictive. They almost make it like a game. Like you get on there and you spin the wheel. Okay, well, if you buy
Yeah.
$40 worth of stuff, you get 2 free items.
Oh,
So, of course, I spent my son's birthday was the 4th of July, and everything he opened was from Temu.
there you go.
And 2 of those free items was his desk lamp for college and his laundry bag.
That's cool.
So it's fun, you save a lot of money, but they almost make it like a game so it's addictive.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'll eventually break down an order. Yeah, Amazon. I finally ordered a pair of short or swimming trunks because she's like, "You can't
Yeah.
wear shorts on the beach." Who cares? Who's going to be looking at me? So I ordered a pair of swimming trunks. I haven't probably ordered a pair since shoot, I don't know. It's been 5-6 years since we've been to the beach. And like 2 days later, they send me a message. Hey, we've got this color, which is the color I wanted to start with, on sale for $20. I'm like, bastards.
Well, thanks, Marie.
Yeah, well, you didn't lose my number, Marie. You dumped me. You left me. So like all the women in my life. So.
We're still here.
Yes, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not taking my show off the air. I'm not moving to a state in the Midwest and holding up cards and wondering if it's the right thing. Oh, sorry if you're watching. So, not doing it. So.
Oh gosh, that's funny.
Yeah, well, it is. Oh, well, it appears the first hour has gone by. Let me check my messages again. I know he was trying, so, and it was a stretch for him to get on here. Even I was going to try to get him to do a sound clip for the radio show, and even just finding the time for that was going to be hard for him. So,
oh my gosh,
well, thank you.
They're not in bad weather. Hopefully, they're safe and everything's okay.
Oh, it's true. I don't know where I guess I'm sure you can probably
Yeah.
find it online where he's at on the tour. So, but
hopefully they're okay.
Yeah. Well, if he'll make it up to us. So
yeah,
and I'm getting his music to play on. He was sending it through. I guess there's some kind of rules that apply to playing music on the radio. And it has to have a code or something. Every time it's played, they get a dime or something. I don't know how it works, but yeah. So when the radio station plays the song, it transmits a code to the computer that says you played this song. Because I got in trouble because I played a song out of order, and I'm getting in trouble. But they're like, just don't do that again without telling us. So,
oh my gosh.
Because I guess the way it works, it messed with the system. So it was kind of funny. Like, well, I didn't know. Sorry.
Wow.
You know, being as I'm now a broadcast engineer. Unlike some podcasts, I'm on FM radio and internet radio. I need a button here for my horn. I have learned that there are different rules for each format, and it's kind of, you've got to, when you're on internet radio, you're more free to do, like right now we're on Yerg's Radio and rainbowradio.com, soon to be on another one. You're a little freer. You're on FM, you got the seven deadly words you can't say. So there are things you can and can't do, and then so it's a little bit of fun learning it, but I've had a good time with it so far.
That's good. And that's all that matters, if you enjoy it.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? I am going to hit the button and we're going to reset here, because backstage I see that Zodiac has joined us, and we'll bring him out. And so let me push a button. Everybody at WRFN and WDJY, thank you for listening, and please remember to tune in to the next show. And for those of you watching, we'll be right back. I'm just pushing a button. So like, follow, share, subscribe, and let me find the button.
Let's get ready to rumble!
I'm Miranda Maverick, and when I'm in fight camp, I never listen to the Sportcat podcast.
And welcome back. All right, everybody. I'm going to let Amanda do the introduction here, since she is much more I can't even speak. I'm already tongue-tied. She is more versed in this. I hit the right button there with "Let's get ready to rumble." How about that? So I'll let you bring Zodiac out. There he is. Hello, Zodiac. Welcome.
So good to see you.
You got my good angle? I got my good side? Did I get my good side? Okay.
Yeah, you look great, as usual.
I'm down here in my workshop in my studio right now. I was working on some gear stuff and just put the baby to bed. So.
All right. So this is my good friend Zodiac. We've been friends for over 20 years now.
Yeah.
We wrestled together, I believe, starting in Cincinnati.
I think so, yeah.
MWA and MWA, Mountain Wrestling Association in Georgetown, before they moved to Mount Sterling. And he's one of the few people who stayed friends with me. Even when I started traveling and left Kentucky, which was very few people. So I've always cherished our friendship. And he's just a wonderful person. He's a wonderful wrestler. I mean, he's still doing it. And he's a great trainer. And you watch after, the newcomers, and you help everyone. And now you're doing wrestling gear, which is amazing. You're just such an amazing person, and we're so glad to have you on the show. So yeah, tell us everything about yourself.
I'm gonna go deflate my ego now that she's pumped me up so much. Like she said, I started wrestling training and everything right out of high school when I was 18. That was in '98, so I'm dating myself right there. And then she started a little while after, a few years after that. And like I said, like Amanda said, she started around the same places I did, NWF, MWA, and then kind of ventured out on her own. I stuck around there for a few years, and still bounce in here and there and keep tabs on everybody. But I wanted to go out and travel. I like the old journeyman style. So I just went place to place and wrestled wherever I could, to get extra training, experience, things like that. It's 20... Was it September? I think September will be 26 years. Yeah, I think September 19th. That was when I first started. So it's been an interesting run and a ride. I've gotten to do a little promoting and help with that, a little booking, help with that. Mainly training younger guys right now and helping them on the road. I go do seminars. I've got one scheduled in November, and I mainly cover character work, psychology, small fundamentals, things like that. I don't do a lot of drills and whatnot, because that's what you should be getting at your training. So I've always focused on character work. So we do a lot of that stuff. I take guys and help them mold whatever their gimmick or character or persona is, and find little tweaks to make them stand out that they wouldn't have otherwise.
Zodiac, can I interrupt you for just 1 second?
Sure.
Our other guest has popped in here, and he was on the road and only had a few minutes. So I'm going to bring him in here with us, if that's okay with you.
Sure, go for it.
All right. His name is Shelby Lee Lowe, and he is also on the road right now. He's a country western performer. So I knew he didn't have much time, and so we brought you in a little early.
Y'all.
Hey, Shelby, how are
Hey,
you? You're on the
Shelby.
road.
I'm doing good. I'm not on the road right at the moment. I'm actually at home, which
Okay.
I don't know which is worse, being at home or being on the road, because I got 5 kids at home, so I think
Oh,
I'm busier
wow.
at home.
I understand that one. I got 4 at home and then 2 in Illinois, so I understand that.
Good Lord.
Heck yeah. Thank y'all for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. And neither of you, well, Zodiac, I don't know how old you are, but neither of you look old enough to have kids. So
I think I've aged well.
Yeah.
Couple wrinkles.
Zodiac doesn't look that old either.
well, I guess you probably, both of you probably missed it, but I announced that I just had my 3rd grandchild, and so I don't. It's hard to imagine once you have kids, and then your kids have kids. It's really scary. So
I didn't have kids until late, so like I've got a little girl. She'll be 1 at the end of August, and then my little boy will be 5 at the end of August. So something about August babies. I don't know.
time goes by quick. So Shelby, you look like you're busy playing Mr. Dad there.
Yeah, I got an extra little. This is little Henry. He's 3 months old, so.
Oh,
Oh.
I just put mine to bed not long ago, so I understand that one. He's in there snoozing.
mine are all grown out of the house, so I'm an empty nest. So, Zodiac got to tell us he's a professional wrestler. He got to tell us a little bit about him and touring the road and doing things. Shelby, tell us just real quickly. So I know you have a lot of time. A little bit about you there.
Yeah, so I'm born and raised in southern Middle Tennessee, about an hour south of Nashville, a little community called Possum Trot. And I've been playing music for a living for the past 10 years. And, I do kind of neo-traditional country music, So I've been writing and recording for years and playing a lot and keeping me busy.
That and that many children. So
Right. That doesn't help matters. That's true. I'm always busy.
yeah. And I'm going to ask both of you this question. How is it being on the road? I mean, I know as a flight paramedic, I would go, but I always had somebody set my schedule and I'd come back the same night. You guys stay out on the road for weeks. How did the heck do you handle that with family life?
Well, my schedule's not as hectic as it used to be right now. I was just gone for 3 days to go down to just past Bristol, Tennessee, down in Chutney, Tennessee, for a camp and a taping and tournament down there. We went down to Ricky Morton's school and did an NWA Rock and Roll Invitational Tag Tournament. So, and then they did a seminar too. It was supposed to be it was 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we were down there for that. But most of my trips here anymore are about 3 days at most when I do a loop. I did one that was 4 days a few weeks ago, but it was still fairly local. We went down to Eastern Kentucky, did a couple fair shows down there for 4th of July weekend, and then came up and I did a convention for In Conjunction up in Indianapolis for 2 days, which is kind of like a big, it's not a horror convention. It's kind of like a sci-fi convention. So that was a lot of fun. But mine don't stay weeks at a time much anymore.
How about you, Shelby?
Yeah. Well, when I first got started, I was real gung-ho in it. And I would spend like 6 weeks out at a time. And that's a lot of travel. And that's a lot of stuff that can go wrong, So I learned quick. It's a lot easier to kind of stay within couple, maybe at most. Last year I was out for 2 weeks to Colorado and New Mexico and Texas. I was gone. I think I played about 12 different states last year, but this year I've started playing every weekday morning in Nashville at Eric Church's new bar called Chiefs on Broadway. And they've allowed me to play my own original music, which is rare for Broadway in Nashville. And it's a really good gigs. So I've been mostly staying local. I've played in South Dakota and Nebraska this year, and a lot in Alabama, and I've got some stuff coming up in Georgia and Colorado coming up. So I still travel, but only when it's just really worth it, because it's hard to get away from the kiddos, obviously. But the older I get, the more I'm like, man, that's a lot of driving. That's a lot of, like, if I'm opening up for somebody who has a tour bus and I can just hop on their bus and tag along, I don't care how far they go. But it's different when it's my bus or my van. So
Yeah. Yeah, Zodiac has the Zodi bus.
Yeah, I've got a shuttle bus that I gutted out and modified into like a camper, like an RV, and that it was a fun little project. I actually lived in it for a good year or so and traveled around in it place to place, and that's all we pretty much did was wrestle and do conventions and everything else. I wanted to try bus life and van life, so I did the bus for a year, and I did a minivan for a good year and a half. So for perspective, I'm 6'2" and about 280 pounds in a Honda Odyssey minivan. So I lived in that and just gutted it out and put a bed in it and everything else. It was fun. That was a good experience. We documented it, and we just go down to Tennessee, Florida, back up through Canada, wherever. We would book loops. And if I needed extra money for something, I could always do like gear work with me at the shows. And I'm a licensed massage therapist too, so I would do sports work on some of the guys. So in this van, I had a sewing machine, a massage setup, and everything that I could just drop at the shows and go and work. So it was interesting. It was a lot of fun. I still do all that, but now I do most of it from home.
Yeah.
Now,
So cool.
as far as being a performer, for both of you, once again, do you find yourself now? Zodiac, you can obviously you're behind a mask, but
Sometimes.
okay. I'm just saying, do you find yourself when you're out there on the stage and you're in front of a bunch of people? I'm lucky that I'm behind a camera and just with you guys. Do you find yourself intimidated by it or worried that you're going to do something wrong? Because I always do, even though I've got 2 followers. So.
Wrestling wise, when I first started for the first several years, yeah, a lot of I do a lot of improv type stuff. Like we call it working on the fly. So wrestling wise, like we all know wrestling, it's a form of entertainment, and insult me with that. We entertain people. It's very physical. It's very athletic. It's very demanding on the body, but we're putting on a good show. It's a very physical show, but it's almost like Broadway or improv. A lot of times we know the end result, and it's up to you how you want to get there. So I learned just through a lot of repetition. I've probably had damn near 3,000 matches. So it's like,
Oh, wow.
I would take the mistakes and the mess ups and use them during the course of the performance to just make something out of them. If the crowd doesn't know you messed up, then they don't know you messed up. You might, but if they don't know, it doesn't matter. I've had matches where everything just went haywire, but we covered it or kind of went with the flow, and it went better than what we would have had planned out. So I don't know, you still get butterflies. I think you should always still get butterflies because you're going out there and performing. If you're not, then it's time to take time off, relax for a bit, and do something else, and then come back. But just don't panic is the biggest thing. That's what I tell a lot of the younger guys, because a lot of them aren't taught how to work on the fly like that. You play music. Do you play an instrument, or you just do vocals, or?
I play guitar and sing.
Yeah, it's almost like you're ever playing and a string breaks. It's like you just kind of got to go with it sometimes and figure it out and roll with it instead of freaking out. A lot of these younger guys will freak out if something doesn't go to plan and they don't know what to do and they freeze up. And like, you're live in front of anywhere from 100 to 10,000 people. You never know. So you don't want to freeze up. Just roll with it. They don't know. They don't know what A, B, and C is supposed to be. So.
Yeah. Is that what you do, Shelby?
Same for me. Absolutely. Just being doing it long enough to where I've played so many shows that I don't really get too nervous or worked up anymore. I remember early on, I think my first time playing in front of a really big crowd. I think I opened up for Charlie Daniels when I was just about a year,
Nice.
just about a year or two into my music career, and up to that point, I'd only played just some bars and little local stuff, but There was thousands of people out there, and it was just electric, man. It was. I probably had to go use the restroom like 10 times in the last 20 minutes before I performed. But once you get up there and you just let loose, it's like, wow, that feels really good. And you kind of went like, wow, the next show, I kind of want thousands of people there every time. So, I've gotten used to it. I've played, my first gig in Nashville was at a bar called Piranhas, which isn't even there anymore. And I would show up on Tuesday morning and just hope I was making enough money to pay my parking, and there wouldn't be anybody there but the bartender and a couple rats, running around. So you get tough skin, and you just learn how to mess up. It's just the experience. The more you do it, the easier it gets.
In wrestling, when we say there were a couple of raps, we mean something else.
Totally different.
So that's funny.
I'll have to explain that off the air. So we're going to stay FM friendly for this.
We had literal rats at this
Literal
bar.
rats,
That's probably why they're not
yes.
open anymore. But yeah,
Our rats in wrestling are girls who are after the wrestlers.
Groupies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Holster sniffers for us in public safety. Yes.
Right.
They're out there in every branch, every little, yeah. So, yeah, and like I said, I've performed here in front of you guys, but to me, this is more relaxed and laid back. I don't know. I've been asked to speak and things, but I've been a paramedic on the field working on a patient in front of a whole football stadium full of people and not froze up. So I guess it would be the same because I was just there doing my job and wasn't thinking about it until later. Later. Yeah. And then it hit me. I was like, holy crap. I'm probably on YouTube 5 million times right now, or Twitter or whatever the heck. So yeah. But yeah, I didn't think about it at the time, but I mean, like I said, I was nowhere near what you guys do. Opening up for CDB, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a huge honor. And, obviously he's not around anymore. So I'm super thankful I got to experience that. And that was in my hometown. It was a free show. And it's one of the biggest shows I've to this day I've played. So that was really cool.
That's awesome.
That's neat.
Yeah, that's an honor too. So, I can't even imagine the number of people at one of his concerts. So,
yeah,
it's great, man. I've been fortunate to be able to do a lot of really cool stuff with music, and I'm hoping that there's a lot more to come still. So I've got new music coming out this year. I do have a lot of shows booked, new merchandise. I'm still doing the thing, trying to make enough money with music to pay for all these kids I keep having,
I understand that one. That's why I keep trying to find different avenues with wrestling and stuff, between performing and gear and everything else. I'll keep my fingers crossed for you. I'll look you up on if you're on Facebook and online, I'll look you up too and share your stuff in that for you and kind of spread it out. I love country music though.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. My music's on Spotify, Apple Music. I got a lot of YouTube music videos and stuff. So anybody that is out there that, wants to check me out. I'm talking more about music on this than I thought I was. I thought it was a paranormal. I was ready to talk paranormal.
We usually go there.
We're getting there. Yeah, we're getting there.
I just look spooky.
Yeah.
I was just listening to a thing on what was it on? Reality Check, I think it was, that they do on News Nation, where they were talking about Skinwalker Ranch, because we sit and watch that religiously. We watch Skinwalker Ranch, Blind Frog Ranch. I follow like Secure Team 10's website and everything. Like, I have every season of Ancient Aliens on DVD just because I started watching that as a kid and collected them. I don't know. My girlfriend looked at me. She goes, "Why do you have all these?" I was like, "Why would I not have all of these?"
Boy, do I have a song for y'all, and I mean it in the best way possible. I met one of my shows. There was a van parked out front, and it had a Sasquatch painted on the side of it holding a raccoon and said "The Beast." And I thought, man, I got to meet this guy. That's the coolest van I've ever seen. And the guy went on to tell me how him and his grandpa met a Sasquatch in Arkansas when he was a kid. And I just like, I got to write a song about this guy.
That's
So
awesome.
I wrote a song called Weirder Than You. And it's just kind of about, it's about owning, it's like I'm big on, my dad was obsessed with Bigfoot, and I've got some stories on some UFO things. So I've been kind of obsessed with that ever since my experiences. So I've always kind of, I've been into weirder stuff like that. So I wrote a song called Weirder Than You. That's kind of just like an anthem for, rednecks and hippies,
That's
Oh
people that are
gosh,
into different
that's
stuff,
that's gonna be like the new anthem for our farm. Our farm is actually called Squatch River Farm,
Oh, that's great.
and we make big Sasquatches for yards that look like silhouettes, so it looks like Sasquatches in our yard.
I
We
see
just
those everywhere now.
we just
Yeah.
moved. We just moved into a house down here in Lakeside Park, Kentucky, and it's a nice area. It's a medley of all kinds of different historical stuff in that. And we got looking at it, and they did the survey on it, and they did the house inspection. And kind of thought the house is like 104 years old, and it's on like just the plot it's on is even older than that. And so we've been finding all kinds of weird stuff in here. There's like 2 old coal cellars in it, and I keep finding little doors that go to wherever. Yeah. We looked up the house, and it said it was 1,400 square foot. And then I looked at the pictures, like, well, there's a whole downstairs. And they refinished everything, and it's got a good vibe to it. But it's like we just keep finding weird stuff in this house. I told my girlfriend, I was like, watch, I'm waiting to find like a treasure map somewhere behind a wall or a secret tunnel like
Right.
underground somewhere that goes somewhere.
Goonies never say die.
Yeah. But we found a Goonies house.
Oh, that's funny. Well, Shelby, I know you don't have much time, so tell us one of your stories real quick before you have to cut out of here, and pick the best one. Come on. So,
Well, I'll give you. I got two very similar stories,
awesome.
probably 15 years apart. The first one, I never really thought much about UFOs or anything else. I think I remember hearing about the Phoenix Lights in the early 2000s or late 90s and thought that was interesting. But, I lived out in the boonies, and there was no light pollution. You could see every star in the sky. And growing up, I loved, I lived in a very old log cabin, and I had a in-ground pool in the backyard. And at nighttime, when I was a teenager, I used to swim a lot and hang out. And there was one night, it had to be 2004 or 2005. It was before I had a driver's license. And a buddy of mine on the football team, Brandon, he was over at the house, and we were swimming, hanging out, and just relaxing, really. And the next thing you know, he says, "Hey, have you ever seen a green star?" I said, "What?" He said, "A green star." And I look up in the sky, and it was like the North Star, except it was green. And I was like, "Well, that's weird. I've never seen that before in my life." And it went from green to red. It turned red, like a bright red. And then I was like, oh, I don't even remember what was going through my mind, but it turned green to red to like a yellowish color. And then it got really small, like the size of a star. And, we just looked at each other like, what the hell are we looking at? Like, is that an airplane, helicopter? And it got really dim. And then it started getting bigger and brighter, and it was green again. And then I don't know if this is like one of those fishing stories where it just gets bigger and bigger as the years go by. Because it's been quite a while, but it got big enough to a point to where I want to say if it was a helicopter, the light of a helicopter, it would have been so loud that it would have been like right on top of us. It was like the size. It felt like, like a small moon is how big that green got, and it felt. It was unnerving. It was probably just like my whole life flashed before my eyes. It was like, oh my God, I'm looking at something that is not from this world. I was convinced like that's something that was, me and him both felt it. It felt like it saw us and it felt like it was zooming in on us. It was getting closer to us.
That's creepy.
And it was terrifying. So we jumped out of the pool and hauled ass. And my mom was home. My dad was a mail truck driver. He was out that night. But we went and got my mom, and we went outside and we watched this light, you know, and it got smaller, and it got the size of about a star. And then it would just make really subtle little movements. It would just kind of move across the night sky. And we looked at it through binoculars. I had probably like a Nokia phone that I tried to get a video on. There's no telling where that's at. Not that you'd be able to tell anything from it, but we probably watched this light in the sky go from like the east to the west for like 2 hours, you know, until we just got bored of watching it. But looking through binoculars, you could see like very small little lights, like you could barely see, but it felt like a little tiny light moving around that light. And, you know, we went to school the next day. We told people's like, oh, y'all are crazy. That was a planet, you know, that was a helicopter, anything. And we're just like, okay, whatever, you know, but we you know, we just, it flipped us out for sure. But I didn't really think much else of it. It was just a cool story I would tell every now and then for years. Never thought I'd ever have another experience in my life. And then 2021, bought a new house here where I'm standing now. And we'd been living here for just a couple months. It was January or February. And at the time, my 2-year-old, about to be 3-year-old, she was probably my son's age right now. And I got home from a gig in Alabama at like 2:00 in the morning. And she was awake when I got home, and I had to just kind of put her to sleep. So I was laying on the bed next to my wife, holding my then 2-year-old daughter, or sorry, then like 2-month-old daughter. And it's like 3:00 in the morning, and I'm just sitting there. We don't have blinds up yet because we just moved in. And I'm looking out the window, writing a song in my head because I'm not even the least bit sleepy. And, you know, all of a sudden I see this light just moving into my line of vision. And, you know, my first reaction is like, oh, it's an airplane, because we got tons of airplanes right here. And the light just stops moving. I was like, uh-oh. And then it started moving back. I said, what in the hell am I looking at? So it's moving back and forth again. And I wake my wife up, and, you know, she's half asleep, but I just point out the window, and she looks, and she just like automatically just, you know, she just goes into fight or flight mode. Like, oh my God, am I really seeing what I think I'm seeing? And we watched this light. It was just like, couldn't tell its shape or anything, just like an orb, kind of like a star, you know, like a soft glow light that would get oddly bright, but it would kind of blink sometimes. It would kind of fade out. We watched it just kind of move in just like the oddest fashion, similar to what I saw years ago. And we watched it just kind of go back and forth across the sky, really slow, really subtle light, but enough to where you're watching it. It's just, you know, as soon as she woke up, she knew something was off. That's how obvious it was. And it was far enough away. And I don't know if you've ever tried to like video a star in the sky with your phone, but we tried every which way in the world to get a video of this thing, and we just couldn't do it. But I'm talking about our story now. My wife says hello to y'all.
Tell her hello.
But yeah, it spooked us bad. It was like 3:00 in the morning, and we probably stayed up till 5:00 in the morning watching this thing. And I wanted to go outside. She wouldn't let me go outside to try to get videos of it. But it was pretty shocking. You know, it was like we were watching something move in a way. I guess the way I would try to explain it, you know, if you watch an airplane move or a drone or anything, it kind of makes sense the way it's moving in the sky. But it almost looked like a laser pointer, but it was, it was real smooth in the way it moved. But but it was just so obviously not some kind of laser light show. And even if it was, what is somebody doing at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning out in the middle of nowhere, shining a light like that? It just didn't make any sense. And I don't know. I guess Huntsville, Alabama is about an hour away from us. So I wonder if Redstone Arsenal is testing something out behind us. It could be some kind of, if it's a drone, it's the most powerful drone imaginable, that's can operate for hours at a time without stopping and recharging. And if it's a drone, you're supposed to have a license to fly one of those after a certain amount, after dark. So why would somebody be flying a drone randomly out in the country at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning? It's just, it's weird. And I've had neighbors on my road tell me they've seen things. And, apparently there's been several sightings of different UFO type of things in this little area that I didn't know about, just from talking about it, finding out about other people. So it makes you wonder, like, what, I don't know. I ain't saying I saw aliens. I will tell you that I for sure saw something that didn't make sense. It wasn't a helicopter, it wasn't an airplane, some sort of light that was just it wasn't ball lightning. It moved in a way that was like something's controlling it. But I don't know. But I've been a UFO nerd ever since. I've been keeping up with David Grush. I've been keeping up with the congressional hearings, and hoping one day we really find something out about this mess, because I know whatever it is, there's people that know more about it than they're letting on. So
that's true. I agree. Zodiac, what about you? What's your story?
That's what. Which one? Which story? What you talking about? Which I was listening to the green light story.
That's a hard act to follow. I know.
Hey, I appreciate you guys, Zodiac. It's good to meet you, man. My first gig, one of my first gigs planned was actually at a little pro wrestling event in my hometown, and that was a lot of fun.
Okay.
It's good. Cool. It's good to meet you guys. Thank y'all for letting me tell my story. I think I'm getting summoned. My boss is calling me.
The boss is more important than us. Okay.
Yeah, most definitely. Good talking with you. I'll look you up online and stuff and that, and give a follow and that, and check your stuff out.
Yeah.
Do that.
Definitely.
If y'all ever at a wrestling event, I'll jump in the ring and I'll kick somebody or something.
Hey, some of them are looking for live events and stuff too every now and then, so you never know.
Okay, just please let me know. I will come out and learn to speak in front of people and MC that. So.
It's good meeting y'all. Thank y'all so much for having me.
You too, Shelby. Thank you,
Shelby. And I'll get your music on the station as soon as your manager gets it up there. So,
thank you guys.
Oh,
night. So cute.
No.
I'm a big sap.
That's great.
Big scary monster out there. I'm a big old softie and a teddy bear outside of that. The kid or something in front of me. I'm like, oh.
I know. You're such a sweetheart.
It's funny you say that, because I asked Amanda earlier. I said, is he going to come out and scare me?
I've had to ask people that before. I'm like, do you want full on character stuff, or you just want to do like a general behind the scenes, let's talk? What? And most of the time people just want behind the scenes, let's talk. But I have a couple of them, like they want you full character because it's like a character based thing or whatnot. And that's always fun too. Like if it's a radio show, we're just hyping a show. The promoter will be like Kyle Maggard down in Eastern Kentucky. He'll do that. He's like, go on this radio show, but do it in character, full character. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
We're hyping the show up. Something like this, I just like to have fun, talk, and hang up.
That's what we're all about. Yeah.
Yeah, we always like to hear like your paranormal experiences. Do you believe in Bigfoot? Like, what are your thoughts on things?
We were just talking about this stuff, and so anytime I'm around AJ Kazana and them guys down there, that's one of the first things that comes up. It's like he always starts with a flat Earth joke, which is hilarious. And I tell him, like, the Earth can't be flat because cats would knock everything off of it.
True.
Yeah, it is my cats roaming around. We've got like 7 cats, so it's crazy here. but then we got into the whole conversation about like that ice wall stuff, paranormal stuff. What was it he was talking about and brought up? It was relevant. It was Bigfoot. And he was talking about that was like we sat for like a good hour and a half talking about if Bigfoot was an interdimensional being or if it was just something that's out there that we haven't found, like a cryptid. And he was like, and that's one of his main thoughts and theories. He goes, I think it's an interdimensional being. And like he went in this whole theory of how the different dimensions rotate and every now and then they cross, or certain things can cross back and forth. And that's why we don't catch or see them. It's just different levels of different dimensions, and that's where they come from. I was like, good possible theory. And then my old tag partner, Jeff Waldridge. Do you remember Jeff, Amanda? I don't know if you remember Jeff or not. He wrestled as Black Rain for the longest time. Me and him tagged down in around Frankfurt and Lawrenceburg and Lexington and stuff for a few years. But when he slowed down in wrestling, he started doing Scarefest over in Lexington. And he was the
yes.
he was the one that kicked all that off. And then eventually somebody else took it over and he sold it. But he does paranormal walks through Lawrenceburg, through like the old printing press and the print shops and some of the old houses through there. And I've done a couple.
Did he do that with Patty? Patty Starr. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I've volunteered for Scarefest for years and did the tattoo section, so I'm pretty familiar with the Scarefest people.
He does mainly documentaries and editing and film stuff right now. But
Okay.
he did Scarefest for quite a while. I think he still does the ghost walk through Lawrenceburg. I did that a couple times with him, but he'll talk randomly like Chip Coffey and all these people. He's like, I don't know if I'm Chip Coffey, but like, yeah, big deal, BS.
I love Chip. He came in and got a pair of glasses for me when I worked at Warby Parker in Lexington.
That's awesome. The ghost walk he does is really interesting. I did that a couple years, and each year it was really interesting. You see more like shadowy type stuff, but especially the old newspaper print place that's in Lawrenceburg. I can't remember the name of the company.
Yes.
But that place, it doesn't look like much from the outside, but when you get in there at night, it's wild. Like, you'd swear there's stuff looking around the corners at you and following you, and you hear little like whispers behind you and everything. It's one of the creepiest places I've been in, and I've wrestled a lot of weird places. Like I've done tours of Bobby Mackey's over here, which they're tearing it down now and redoing it, which is sad. But that place even topped Bobby Mackey's for me because it just had this odd vibe. You always feel like something's following you.
Wow.
I was surprised they were tearing Bobby Mackey's down. I guess they're auctioning parts of that off right now.
Have you had anything actually ever touch you?
More like cold chills and stuff and that. When I was at Peel's, we wrestled at Peel's Palace, which was in Erlanger. If you ever were in that place by yourself, like late tearing down or anything, that got a weird vibe because that place had been there for a long time and it had been through a number of like fires. Everybody you can think of as far as entertainers had been in and out of there. A lot of shady stuff happening there. People shot in there, all kinds of stuff. It had been there forever. A lot of old Memphis wrestling came through there, boxing. So there's so many different news articles from that place. And there, if you go in the bathrooms or whatnot, you would get tugged on or this or that, or get like just a cold rush. Like a lot of the boys didn't want to be in there by themselves tearing down if it was late at night. Like they would go to the bar or whatnot. But if you were there setting up early by yourself, or they're tearing down late, or if they had to go get money or something afterwards and it was all shut down, you're waiting for somebody, it was just the creepiest place, especially if you were out in the back, like backstage areas and stuff, or down in the basement areas where they store like all the liquor and the containers and that for like the CO2 and all that stuff. That place was just wild.
Yeah,
it was a creepy place.
Yeah, you've been to Peel's. You know, that was where my first match was Peel's.
Yeah, that's a creepy place. It's so dark in there anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just gives you the heebie-jeebies just walking in there.
I've got a brick and a piece of cement block and a piece of the entranceway from where they tore it down.
Oh.
I went and snagged a couple pieces from it.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, I had a comedian on and he was talking about how a lot of times places where people perform are haunted. And he started his career. He's a Robin Williams impersonator. And he said after Robin Williams died, he started having more experiences to where it actually spooked him. He said you can feel these things. He says, he says, especially if you're closing the bar down like you're saying, and everybody's leaving, and you're getting your money or whatever. He's like, you just want to get out of there because you can feel it.
Yeah. I definitely believe there's something out there energy wise, whether it's interdimensional or whether it's extraterrestrial. I'm sure there's extraterrestrial type stuff, spiritual or whatnot. I'm not a very religious person, but I'm kind of a spiritual person just from experiences growing up and stuff. Like there's something out there. My friend's mom that I grew up with, she always had all kinds of odd stuff. And she was one of the ones that she would do Ouija boards in the house and do different things. Like, yeah, she was a wild one. And, that was one of the creepiest things. Her husband had passed away and left her a brandy bottle, like decanter, one of the really nice crystal looking ones. And she had remarried. This was one of the weirdest stories. She had remarried and she never would let anybody touch this brandy. She's like, it's not for drinking. It's for decor. It's sentimental. It just stays on the mantle, This bottle had been there forever. And he got so bent one night. At the time, he had a bit of a drinking problem. He wasn't bad guy, but he had a drinking problem. He worked on the road as a truck driver, and he just was in a mood and got yelling and hollering, and you could feel it was tense in the house. And he was like, I just wish something would happen to that bottle so I didn't even got to look at it again. And 2-3 seconds later, that bottle just cracked, shattered off the mantle. And I was like, it was the weirdest timing and thing because nothing around it, no kids around it. We're kids at the time, we're about 12, 13 years old, And we're just sitting there like, what just happened?
Wow.
And she's all up. Her mom was all upset, thinking he threw something at her or what. It's like, no, he's over here. Like he didn't do nothing. He just was mad. And she swears up and down it was the vibe in the house and that he was so mad that something broke that bottle.
Right.
It just shattered. It was like
crazy.
You've ever seen the old burgundy brandy decanters? They look like they got the little ridges all in them and stuff. That's kind of what it was. So it was hardy glass and 100 pieces.
Wow.
Yeah, that was one of the wildest things I ever seen.
Oh, well, that's pretty wild.
That whole house was weird because it was a duplex, like a side by side that they had kind of converted it into one, and we rented out the other side for a while from them for about a year and a half. And that year and a half was enough for me. I grew up with this kid, but living in that house next to him, that was enough for me. That was wild. That place had rooms walled off and everything else. We fell through one of the walls playing around, and we had hit these walls how many times? He fell through one of the walls and hit it and cracked it. And it was just drywall, come find out. So I catch him, and he was like, don't let me fall through this wall. And I'm like, well, it's not a wall. Like, there's a room behind there. Somebody had walled off one of the rooms for some reason on the top floor, the attic floor. The attic was huge. It ran the whole length of the house. And it was creepy. I mean, it was Amityville creepy. Like, they slept up there. I'm like, there ain't no way I'm sleeping up here.
Oh, gosh.
He falls through this wall, and on the other side of the wall, they had drywalled it off for some reason. And it was a whole nother, like, 12 by 12 room. And it had a big brass bed in it, a nightstand in it, a little throw rug, stuff on the bed, and everything else. I'm like, why would you wall off a whole room with the furniture in it and everything? I was like, well, is there a way to go around and put something in there for storage? And y'all just didn't know it? No, the only way in was the way it was walled off, like it was an extension of that room, and they just sealed it off. It was weird.
That is really weird.
Yeah. He still tells that story and it freaks him out because he's the one that fell through the wall. He wasn't the same after they lived in that house. It messed him up a bit. I don't know what else happened in there, but after he had moved out. Yeah, he got in all kinds of different little trouble and everything else, and just he wasn't the same after that. I don't know what was up with that whole place, but it was weird.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
have you ever been touched by anything, like a spirit, or felt anything, or seen anything?
That place, I swear, stuff tugged on us. There, like I said, there and Peels was like the only two places that really got anything like that. We got cold spots when we did the ghost walks and stuff at Jeff's and places like that. I'm wanting to go to Waverly still. I haven't gotten to go there.
We were talking about Waverly on here a couple weeks ago, and there's a couple of ladies who want to come in from out of town to go So I'll let you know if they decide to come, and we'll just get a big group together.
Yeah, I've been wanting to do the
But
overnight
you'll
there.
have to come up. Yeah, we need to get a big group together and go to Waverly.
You see a lot of weird lights and odd stuff on the road, like because we travel in the country a lot, that back roads. You see a
Yeah.
lot of weird stuff, but I mean, it could be anything from shooting stars to helicopters to planes to anything. You don't know. I've seen so many odd
Yeah.
lights, I can't even count all those, but nothing like to
Oh
the
my
extreme
gosh.
of what brother saw. But
I thought there was a tornado one night when I was driving, and it seemed to be moving, but of course I'm driving, so I'm the one moving. And by the time I got to it, it was just smoke from a factory, but it looked like a tornado. It was the craziest thing, and it was so late at night. So yeah, I've seen some crazy things on the road.
I think that's when your creep factor is up, when it's late at night and
Yeah.
you're out in even at mom's, she's not that far out of the city, but it's still in the country. Late at night, you go outside and it's just like it's a different vibe.
yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like your senses go on like high alert too when it's like that, when there's not as much
Mhm.
around you too, and there's not as much artificial light and sound. You're picking up more like what's really around you. Even out here, honestly, is surprising. It's really quiet out here and dark. So if I go out back, it's pitch black and you can look up and see everything. And there's in the city, you don't get a lot of crickets and lightning bugs and all that. You go out back where we're at back there, and it's lightning bugs and crickets, and you don't hear no kind of artificial noise or light. It's really nice, but at the same time, it's all woods behind us too. So you hear weird little things. I keep telling the kids there's chupacabras back there, and they better stay out of the woods or they're going to get them. Freaks them out. She's like, there's no chupacabras are in Mexico. They're not here. I was like, there's American chupacabras. They're like, stop, no, there's not. Keep them out of the thorn bushes and the brushes back there in the briar bushes.
You have to bring them out here to the farm.
Oh, they love that.
That's the first Bigfoot experience I had was actually similar to a story to what you just said. They kept telling us there's something in the woods. And then they ended up, there was things like news reports about this thing in the woods. And we were like, oh, we got to go find out about this. We played around long enough. We found out. So
it's never, oh, we better avoid that. It's, oh, we better go find out what this is.
Exactly. I don't know. Maybe I hang out with weird people, but I was like, doesn't everybody else do this?
A lot of the wrestling communities in the paranormal stuff like that and whatnot. One of the guys I tagged with, Nate Hewitt, he does kind of a son of Leatherface kind of deal, Texas Chainsaw, and he collects replicas of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre chainsaws and stuff, and has them done up and everything else. But he does a like cryptid podcast here and there, and then he'll go and do Scare Fest and go do all these places and he does the Mothman thing each year and goes to it and whatnot. And we had an Airbnb together, all of us. So the whole weekend, that's all we were doing was talking about that stuff and wrestling, and down there at Ricky's in the hot box, sweating our butt off.
It's funny how it all kind of just goes together,
Mm-hmm.
like wrestling and paranormal and everything. It's like if you're a wrestler and you can talk about all these different things in different directions, and it all just kind of links up. It's funny.
Well, it's funny because most of the time at the shows backstage or like afterwards, none of the talk is about wrestling. It's usually about something weird like that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we've already done the wrestling thing. Let's talk about something else. Okay.
Right. Well, that's over.
Yeah. Oh, we did that. All right, cool.
An odd connection I found to the wrestling community was a lot of comic books. That there's a lot of comic book fans, and then for professional writing, a lot of times it's comic book writers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That the In Conjunction that we did, that was kind of like along those lines. It was like a lot of D&D stuff and comic book stuff and things like that. A lot of the wrestlers anymore are going and doing appearances at these as guests and stuff. Some of them are even getting into writing their own comics. And Jerry Lawler's actually a big comic book guy. He writes his own comics and sketches and all that stuff. And was it Xavier Woods? A number of those guys, they have the whole Up, Down, Down podcast where they do the comic stuff and comic reviews and movie reviews and video game stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We're all big. We're all a bunch of big nerds.
My friend Melissa Coates was turned into a comic book character before she passed.
Oh yeah, I remember
that. Was really cool. Yeah. So that was cool.
I remember Cindy was turned into a comic book. They did a whole thing on her. She was almost
Oh,
like Sindel from Mortal Kombat.
yeah.
It was neat. That was years ago.
Yeah.
I remember when they did that with her though. That was pretty wild. I've got a comic book
Yeah.
that we did for the bomb shelter stuff. We had drawn up and done. I'm wanting to get more done for like just myself because we don't do the bomb shelter stuff anymore. But it got over really well, and I'm a walking comic book character anyway. I got different versions and variants of my character and all that. So somebody was like, "You should do a comic book where it's the different versions of you, like a multiverse almost." So I'm
Yeah.
tinkering around with that.
With your fireball.
Yeah, I'm big into magic and stuff. I carry fire to the ring with me and throw fire and do fire tricks and stuff.
I love it.
They got over good at Ricky's. They loved it. So.
Yeah. I thought it was really cool when I saw it.
Yeah. How do you put on your character? I mean, besides for obviously the uniform, how do you get in a persona?
I don't know. A lot of it depends on the circumstance, but it's mainly just a rough, gruff. It's hard to explain because I pull from different movies. Like I pull from like the old 80s horror movies a lot of times, like the old Michael Myers movies and the old Freddy Krueger movies and things like that, Leatherface movies, and then like old 80s style wrestling too, like old NWA and Smoky Mountain type stuff, like old Great Muta style matches and the old cheesy bad guy characters and stuff, Spoiler and the Grappler and all them. So it's kind of a mesh of all that stuff. I've tried different, like I said, I've got a bunch of different personas. Like I've got one that does high flying type stuff, and it's got a whole different outfit to it. And each of them has their own place they're from and their own move set and their own kind of look. So the whole key was you never know what version you're going to get when I come up to a show, and I would use that to adapt to whoever I was working with or whatever the promoter wanted. So like with this is more like Leatherface horror based. So it's just the bleached out cargo pants, the rough gruff shirt and brawling and spastic stuff. And then I've got like the purple outfit, which is a cosplay off of Raven from Teen Titans. And that's more technical and fancy and more cleaned up. So I like the characters. So, and I would watch how like Muta and Taker and all these guys would evolve over time. So that's just what I did. And each evolution turned into its own persona pretty much. So most wrestlers are bipolar anyway. So it's like, I get bored really easy too. So I would sit like with brother would sit and write songs. I would sit and think of different characters and stuff and make them. Cause I've got characters out of my mask too that I do. So whereas he's writing songs, I would just sit and think of different characters and gimmicks and personas to do, whether it's for me or for somebody else.
That's so cool. I always found it harder to get back to myself out of character than I did to get into character.
Yeah, that happens too. I'll be at a restaurant still talking like this and everything, getting all rough and rough and what?
Yeah.
What can I get you in an iced tea? What? Oh, my bad. I forgot.
I had a date after a show one night, and I'm pretty sure he was ready to break up with me on the spot. That might have been the last date we ever had.
First and last.
Yes. Because I was still in character. I was like, that's probably not a good idea to go on a date after a show.
Well, it's funny because like with mine, they would see me in this and then like be talking at a show at intermission or whatnot and then meet afterwards. And of course, I'm not in this. And they're like, well, you're not what I expected because I look nothing like what you would expect me to look like. And like, well, you're a big old teddy bear, this and that. Like, you don't look anything like I expected. I'm like, what do you expect? Some big gruff biker guy with I do have tattoos, but covered in tattoos and everything else.
Well, for you to wear a mask, you would think like, I don't know, you're trying to cover something. But then when you take the mask off, you're just this normal looking guy, You're not trying to hide anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not Deadpool, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm not like horribly
Right.
weird or don't look like, I'm not a 10, but I'm at least 2 5s on a good day.
Well, Zodiac, I promised when I messaged you, well, actually, I guess Amanda messaged you, we'd only keep you about an hour. So we're getting close to that hour, and I don't want to keep you any longer. Tell everybody where they can find you, what you got going on, and if you will please come back to see us sometime.
Definitely. I love doing shows like this. Anything Amanda's involved in, by all means. One of my favorite peoples. I'm on every social media you can think of. Most of my social media is under Zodi Mask because I have an LLC under Zodi Mask LLC where I make wrestling gear and I do media and stuff. And then Zodiac, you can find my YouTube channel. I've got one under just Zodiac too for that and for Facebook. And that's just my wrestling stuff and everything else. Appearance wise, the only thing I've got coming up right now, August 17th, I'm back down in Appalachian Mountain Wrestling. We're doing a big taping down there in West Liberty, Kentucky, which I'm surprised they're running West Liberty. They're usually in the Hazard, Eastern Kentucky, Pikeville area, but for some reason they're running West Liberty. So August is a little slow, and it'll pick up around Halloween. Plus August is also my kids' birthdays, so I take off that, and I'm trying to catch up on some gear work here. But I'm on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all that jazz, YouTube. Main focus right now is Facebook and YouTube. So anywhere you can find me there.
Okay.
And I'm hard to miss. So
I might ask you to, in character, do a audio thing where you say you never listened to the Sportcat show. So
never listen to the Sportcat.
I had Miranda Maverick. You saw it coming in at the entrance. I use that all the time. I had her on the show, and she's like, "Why would you want somebody to do that?" And I said, "It's just a play on words." I said, "Because I got somebody cool, Miranda Maverick. I guess you know who Miranda Maverick is.
Yeah.
That does that." I said, "So that's kind of cool." So I had the Robin Williams impersonator do it. Sounds just like Robin Williams.
That's great. Yeah, we could do that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be great. And I would love to have you back on sometime. Anytime. Hey, if you're bored some Wednesday night and you want to hop on and you got some creepy stories, come on in. We'll welcome you.
Yeah, I'm looking more and more into the paranormal. Like I said, with wrestling, with my in-ring slowing down, I'm 44, so I'm not doing a ton of in-ring. I'm trying to get a job with the NWA, which is what this past weekend was. And that would be a limited schedule. And I want to do more stuff at home, kids and everything else. So I'm trying to do more stuff like this. We're doing reviews on different random weird clearance snacks we find, paranormal stuff. So we do like Zodi and K, which is my significant other there. We do like our couch reviews where we review weird snacks or things that have happened or paranormal stuff that's come up. And people are actually getting a kick out of that because it's just us hamming up. And we got good chemistry together. So she's seen them. She's watched us act a fool. So yeah, I'm looking forward to a lot of that. So anything like this, I definitely would love to come up and do.
Yeah.
Cool. We love it.
If y'all are on Wednesdays, I'll be sure to plug the show for you guys too. So
yeah.
Oh, we appreciate it. Yeah.
And say I never ever listened to it.
That's right. You got to get her. I never listened to the Sportcat show. So
you say when and I'll cut you an audio.
Hey, whatever you want, brother. Yeah, a friend of mine was a DJ in Washington, D.C., and he started out doing nothing. I mean, basically, as a DJ, you started like an AM station, work your way up. And he's syndicated now, and that was always one of his shticks. Whenever he would get a guest that was somebody that had personality or somebody you could connect to, and so he has a whole recording of them. And it's funny, I talked to him about it one day, and he's like, I started that as a joke, he says, but now so many people are copying me, including you. And I said, well, it's funny.
Reverse psychology.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't get patent money for it.
That's great. I want to try that.
Zodiac,
don't buy this.
There you go. Don't buy this. I appreciate your time, brother. I really welcome you back anytime you want to come back.
All right, I'm going to hop off of here then and try and get these tights done for this guy and relax a bit until the missus gets home.
There you go.
All right. Thank you.
All right, you guys have a good one.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. And you didn't scare me, by the way. So.
Oh,
well, you got me.
I take this mask off, you'll be terrified. All right, have a good one, guys.
Right,
you too, hon. Thank you.
Bye. That was great. That was great.
He's the best. I just love him. He's such a great friend.
Yeah, he seems like a great guy. Like we were talking earlier, you see the character and you think, big bad dude gonna whoop your butt.
Yes.
And in reality, he's just like us.
Yep.
So I love it. Well, Amanda, I'm glad you were on tonight. I know you've had some bad weather, so I'm glad you were here. And
Yeah.
Shay, I haven't seen her in the chat lately, so maybe lightning struck her or something. I hope not, but
Yeah.
I hope
I
that
think she was having a hard time even with this in the chat.
yeah. And next week we have a pretty good lineup. We have Aliens in the Apocalypse author, and we're followed by another UFO guest, Bruce Oley. He's a PhD, and he's got a book out, and they've got some interesting theories on UFOs. So next week is all UFOs. So make sure to
Nice.
tell everybody about that. And of course, you can find me Tuesdays and Thursdays on the Thin On Rock Station, cranking out rock and roll music. Friday night doing Friday Night Flashbacks, and then the Misfits this weekend. So I think we're going to do something a little odd this weekend. So I'll let Cheyenne tell you about that. To all the fans out there, I appreciate your support and thanks for tuning in and putting up with our shenanigans here. Please make sure to come to the Sportcat Show's channel, like, follow, and subscribe on YouTube. We need your support. We need your love because God knows Facebook hates us. So maybe it's just personal. I don't know.
But I'm not on Facebook. What are you saying?
Never mind. I don't want anybody to know. No, everybody knows where to find me. So that's the problem. Sportcat's easy to find. Everybody have a great night. We will see you next Wednesday. Or tune in to the Friday night Green and Guardian Gang or Saturday's Misfits. You're welcome to watch all of this.